Hello, I am Andrea Goeglein, and if I seem like crazy more excited than I normally am, it is because I am starting, and this is going to be a little raw because I haven't gotten all the kinks worked out, a new set of conversations, reaching back to the guests on our Hey Boss Lady podcast that I did for 4 or 5 years with Christy Atwater. And with me today is Rita Glosser, who owns Raminky Bear. At least she did back then, and we're gonna get an update to that. But because of my work in the Ageless Edge and showing how the mindset you get in your 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s transfers through, I thought, what better way to start this conversation than with someone who was 87 when
No,
I
no, no,
first
no, no.
interviewed you? No, when I first interviewed you in 21.
Okay, thank you.
So tell me, how old are you now? Have you had a
Well, I'm
birthday?
going to be 92 next month, mid-May.
Yay!
And it's a journey. It's an adventure.
Yes.
What else can I say? People say it isn't for sissies. I don't quite believe that. I'm so blessed when I wake up every morning where I live in a beautiful condominium that overlooks the Gulf of Mexico, if you will, please. And I'm very blessed, and my family is exceedingly supportive of me. And I have 10 grandchildren, the youngest 21, and 3 3/4 great grandchildren. How can I not be ever thankful and feel very good about, not exactly like I'd like to feel on the world or the political climate.
Sure.
I'm an optimist, so I think things will swing. That's my beginning statement.
Okay, well, Rita, I actually want to start with, the tradition that Christy Atwater gave us in Hey Boss Lady was ending every show asking the question to our guest, what brings you hope? So I started my day about as happy as a girl could, listening to your podcast and the podcast of Linda Neal, who I'll also be interviewing today. And I've got to say, my heart was just smiling. And when you were asked the question at the end of that interview,
Don't remember what I said.
do you?
No.
Okay, I love it. So, what gives you hope for the future? I asked. What can I hope for the future? I hope I can keep going and feel relatively well. Even if you have a hip replacement or a pacemaker put in, whatever it is, those are minor things. And as long as you keep going, I want to keep going.
Amen. I'll double that. I could say that again. But I can add some things to it too, because my life in the past 5 years has been a gift of seeing opportunities of my young grandchildren, the youngest being 21, the oldest is about 33.
Okay.
And that brings me hope, oddly
Yes.
enough, because take them who are out in the world doing things, working, one for the Brooklyn Nets basketball team doing customer relations, another one doing city planning and has done it for the last 6 years, another one in the finance world. But to see them producing and being aware politically as well. They
Yes.
all want to see change in this world. They're not happy with the present administration, as I am not, but they're doing something about it more than I can. The best I do a little bit is contribute here, contribute there, and support where I can support. But
Well,
for
I want to
you,
pause a moment because we do align politically, but for those who are listening who don't, and so that you get an idea when asked the question, what can I do? If you are happy or unhappy with something, what can I do? What I want our audience to know is what I know about you is last fall, you went door to door in Pennsylvania. You live in Florida, but you went door
my
to door.
hometown of Johnstown, Pennsylvania.
Yes, because you had once had a TV show. You had brought your children up there. You went back to a town that you knew. And I find that that warms my heart
Oh,
when
thank you.
you just, you went to talk to the people and try and convince them. Hey, it didn't work. However,
Well,
you did your part.
I must inject at this time. I don't think I have ever seen a group of people organized as the Cambria County, which was the Johnstown County Democratic Party. They were so on top of everything. Young people in
Yep.
their 20s
Yep.
who had everything so organized. Both days, 3 days that I was there, groups came in from Washington, D.C., which is about a 3-hour bus ride from
Yep.
Johnstown. And when they landed in Johnstown, within 10 minutes, they were assigned, they were out canvassing, as my daughter and I were. And it just filled my heart. And I think that's the hope. When you say,
Yes.
what do I hope for? Well, honey, there it is right there, that these
And,
young
and
people.
and Rita, I will tell you, I too was out. I don't go door to door. I have this real thing about anybody coming to my door, so I don't do that. However, and I did do a little of it initially years ago, not my thing. However, because we were a swing state like Pennsylvania, I was at everything. And I will say clearly, regardless of the outcome, those 100 days enlivened my soul for the same reason. I saw people, and it was not about being against. There was really a
No,
hope and a unity that doesn't get translated in things, unless you were there, you're not going to believe what we experienced. And that's okay. But what was good was that we did those things we could do. And again, no matter the party, minus all the hate, like I will not hang out. We both know crazy Democrats who can be as crazy as any other party.
correct.
I don't give them any airtime any more than I would any other. Like it's not okay for me. We we have a way and a system that even though it's fractured, works incredibly. We just need to get our acts together a lot better.
I think that. And I think too, as I reflect, I'm 91 and old enough to know that a pendulum swings. And
Yes.
where we are now, it's going to come back and right
Yes.
itself where it should be, in the middle. And that's what gives me hope. And
For
I mean,
years,
I'm an optimist. And as I
yep.
say, when I see it personally with my grandkids out and working in the world to do things and reach out to people. And then when I saw what went on in Johnstown, I
Yes.
got to feel very hopeful.
Yeah.
And
And I mean, I come from a state where, in fact, that the Democratic ticket, the Harris ticket, got a few thousand more votes than even Biden did when he won the state in
right.
2020. However, the other side just outmarketed us and found new voters. And, that's the system.
And
Um,
that's your job.
and it is. And so it's really encouraging to me. And I will say, I have another friend with the whole concept of the ageless edge very much in my mind. Again, a professional woman who's now 80 years old. She spent the fall signing up, and she lives in California. The chances of the Democrats not winning California, if, the day the Democrats don't win California, then they
You're in
really got
big
a problem.
trouble.
Um, and yet she did it. And she also, like you, has grandchildren that in the last week, story after story of the companies they're creating, the organizations that they're helping, the jobs that they're getting. While we're here lamenting, what could happen, they are out there
Oh, yes.
doing it and living their lives. And that is
Right.
incredibly encouraging.
And one of my granddaughters from New York with her father went to Pennsylvania to canvass to get out the
Yes.
vote. And
Yeah.
that's very exciting. I don't know, would I be doing this at their age? When I think back, no, we weren't so political
No, not at
children.
all.
We
And
weren't
and let me
thinking,
tell you, I'm the person who longs to not have to be political. I loved not being quite as aware as I am. I was happier not being as aware as I am. But it impacts my business. It impacts my community. It impacts families. And
absolutely.
I mean, we are divided. It's a 50-50 nation at this moment. And the ability to conduct business, which is where I'd love for us to go, because you came into my life because of your company that you started at 62 years old.
I'm still going.
That's what I wanted to know. Minky Bears.
Three Mickey bears, still making a lot of throws and pillows, bears from quilts, from wedding gowns, from neckties. Not as much. I don't want as much. I want to taper down a little bit, but I want to keep going. The gratification that I get from my customers whose things we make are memories, and the gratification in letters is worth the price of admission, plus my sewers that sew in their own home. I always say I don't have win-win. I have win for me, minor, but it's not minor. It's still a business. Win for my sewers who get income from me working in their own home, and win from my wonderful customers. And our bears really are in all 50 states. And now it's throws, a lot of full-length mink coats or whatever it is going into blankets. What else
Yep.
could you have but a luxurious mink
Unknown
blanket?
caller.
And I want you to know that for, like, I know Christy got them. Our grandson has one made out of a coat that actually had been his mom's, and has a Brioni tie of my husband's on it. It sits in his room. It's going to be a memory.
That's what
And
it is.
it's just, and then to have you be, to find this personality. And what I want to talk about a little bit, because what I feel happens in stories, people tell a story at what they hear a story at one point, and they don't know how to properly age and accept different stages and changes. And in the 5 years that I've known you, I mean, shortly after we recorded in March of 21, you lost your husband. Um,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
and and
After
I got
67 years, it's a long time.
exactly. And I watched, and through the telephone, we chatted over that year, and had the opportunity to be in New York because I got to come to Amy's business.
My
And
daughter.
I watched you traverse a major loss of a lifetime loss. It's not a major loss. That was a lifetime loss. You married him at 21 years old.
Yes,
And you were 67, 68 about,
67
I'm
years.
sorry, 87, 88 about
Yeah.
when he passed.
Right.
So I remember when you went on the trip a year or so later to Europe, and you came back and you finally felt there was a new opening.
It happened to me. It's funny. I went to a symphony here in Johnstown and heard a wonderful violinist from Tennessee. I can give her a plug, Tessa Lark. And
Okay.
I heard her play a piece that was written for her by Michael Torr called Sky. And I sat there and I kind of said, you know what? I can I can feel again. I can live again. And I've got to. I've got to for myself, for my own sanity,
Yes.
and of course for my family. And
Sure.
I've traveled to Iceland since then, which was wonderful, to Italy. This year, I think we're planning something else. I'm not quite sure. I have a friend that I've traveled with, a woman friend, and it's delightful. But again, uh, it's a joy to find yourself again in the
Yes.
seed, in the picture of being losing something as much as a husband, which I did, and I love,
Yes.
you know.
And during that time, you still maintained your company. Like, I think it's important, but there is also something that through these years of conversations, you never fail to end every conversation with saying, I'm a little bit slower than I was last year.
Oh boy, I admit that. But my family's good to me. I always say to them, "Oh my gosh, do I forget things?" And I don't work so hard, but it takes me so much longer to do something. So it looks like I work hard, and I kind of laugh. And they all say to me, "Well, we forget things too to be nice." I say, "Oh, okay." And that's where we are. But you
Well,
do, you
what I
function differently.
what I appreciate is that you're living out And you're an example of just because things slow down doesn't mean you have to stop.
No, you
Be
have to keep.
respectful that things slow down.
I will say, and I once a week I go to a chair class, and you would think a chair class would be very easy. You're sitting in a chair, but boy, I work up a sweat there from weights and standing behind it and moving this way and moving that way. It's filled. Every Monday I do that, and then I ride a stationary bike and I try and walk. I try and keep going. Sometimes I don't feel like it. I want to sit and knit, but I
Yep.
try and keep going, I must say.
And I think that's an important part of progressing and keeping your attitude and mindset intact. Do keep trying. Don't, fall into, and you are very diverse. I mean, you are quite the icon for me. I've actually set a new physical goal for this year of adding, first I added an additional Pilates, and now I want to add an additional resistance training. And let me tell you, I'm having a hard time getting that in with everything else that I do.
You do a
And
lot.
the
You
fact
do a
that my
lot.
muscles hurt.
Well, the other thing that's a blessing to me, and I encourage anybody, is bridge. I play bridge about 4 times a week once in person and about 3 times a week online. And you don't have to be good. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing a social game or, as I prefer, duplicate bridge. It's wonderful. It really, people say you do it for mental acuity, but I do it because I love the game more
That's
than
fabulous.
anything.
You
So
know,
I throw that in the mix.
I remembered when Bill Gates and Warren Buffett,
Right.
decades ago, came public that they join in on online games. And it made so much sense. To me, that's the beauty of what technology has permitted. I mean, you and I can have this conversation today.
It's a bonus. I love seeing you. I must say it's a bonus.
So the health of the company is stable.
Yes. I wanted to slow down. That's fine.
And you still, when we talked back then, you were hoping that, you would love to sell it at some point.
Not.
There's no one in the family interested. Do you ever envision a time where you would really look to find someone?
Well, I had one opportunity that fell through, but my wonderful sons and daughter, who are graduates of good graduate schools, tell me I could sell it, but I don't think so. My sewing base is not as solid as it once was. Fortunately, it's still good, but
Right.
that's really, I don't know if I could sell it. I
Yes,
have
because
to
you have a skilled labor employment base, and that
yeah.
when that
Gifted,
weakens, it
gifted
is tougher.
sewers. Our throws and pillows, I don't think can match anybody in the whole marketplace. She
Right.
does is such a gifted sewer. And my teddy bear makers are. I had to replace one, but my second one is really doing wonderfully well. And I can't ask for anything more. We've done quilts, and it's a heck of a fun business because I'm touching people's lives and they love it. I don't usually get customers that complain. I get gracious customers. How much more can you ask for than that in life?
And I think the connection, what your business gives you is the continued connection. What all the science of aging well tells us is that community and human connection is such a critical thing. And at so many points,
Absolutely.
you've got your family, you've got your bridge, you get on calls like this, you go out canvassing, you actively create a life with humans in it.
Thank you. But I must say, I live in a community in Florida where people are not rare in their 90s. There's one man that comes to the bridge table where I play, he's 99. Another man is 95. I mean, there aren't many,
Right,
but people in this community are producing and going and doing and enjoying when they hit the 90 mark. Uh,
right.
and we hope for every day will be just as good as the one prior. I can't say
That
any more than that.
That is really beautiful because I too, I mean, my husband is 90. He's got clear mobility issues, but does he love being around people? You bet. And we do within that we can. There's many things we
Exactly.
just came back from a trip from Utah. I have an uncle who is 92, 93 in New York. He used to walk and take the subways. Well, that's all slowed down, but now he lives in a high rise. And he's lived there for 50 years. The community and their exercise classes, everything is very self-contained. I have a dear priest in my life who's 92 years old. We go out to lunch every so often, and he says mass once a month. Can he stand indefinitely? No, but he knows he can still research and tell a story and teach from the Gospels as well as anyone I've met. And so what we need to do and what I have experienced, each one of these people didn't start at 90 hoping things were going to be better.
No.
They took into their 90s those things from their life that gave them joy before and just adjusted.
And still do.
Yeah.
I can say that honestly. And, we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I'm always hopeful that it's going to be the sun shines where I live and the sky's blue. And after I finish with you, I'm going to go out and do some errands, which I love to do.
Are you still driving?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Oh, okay.
My friends rely on me at night because I can see at night. That's wonderful.
I haven't been able to see at night since I was 30. When Uber was created, I said it was created for me because I was born to have a driver. Not that I don't drive fabulously, but I would prefer not to, especially at night. Always have been that way.
I love to drive. I still do. Now, I will confess to you, when my grandkids come here, they love to drive. And so they drive my car. And percentage wise, it's better to have them drive, and that's fine.
Yeah,
but when they're not here, thankfully I can go where I have to go.
Yeah, Richard, and I mean, in Richard's case, both of his feet became impaired this year. And when he realized 6 and 8 months had gone by and he had not driven, he made a conscious decision that said, I don't think I can go.
And Ubers are wonderful, and it's cheaper than owning a car.
Yes, and we live in a community where car services are also, so we actually have a designated driver that we can call, who can fill in and take him to the doctor, and it works out great. It does. Yeah, so those are the willingness to adjust.
When that comes, thank God for things like Ubers and drivers.
Yes.
It's believe me, I won't drive when I feel I can't.
I trust you on that. Well, I don't want to take you forever because I know you have other things to do, but in my new project, the Don't Die Unforgiven, it's about that whole concept of the quicker you can forgive yourself for things you wish had been different, you did different, whatever it was. Is there anything in your life that you
This is loaded. Yes, I mean, I can't say that there aren't things in my life. I believe me, I've made some decisions that I question now in retrospect. At the time, you only have so much information available to make those decisions, but you can't beat yourself up about them. I've learned that.
Great.
And is it true confession? Well, I can't quite go there. I mean, I think we all have some sort of skeletons or decisions that I wish I had done differently. Maybe it involves deciding on a private school or not a private school for one of my own children. But overall, I think you have to sweep those in a closet and let them stay. I can't beat myself up about them, really. That doesn't help anything.
And that, I really appreciate, because I think from the bit of research that's out on this subject, it is that ability to truly be at peace. It's not that when you look back with hindsight, there are not things that you wish you had done differently, even with the information you had at that time. However, am I at peace that it worked out
Got
regardless?
to be.
Yeah,
Got to be. I mean, it doesn't help to keep, and there's glitches now,
yes,
I mean, to be honest, there certainly are, you
yeah,
know, but some things you have to accept and let be and move on. I mean, I sound, not that you don't agonize at some point about some decision you make,
sure.
but eventually it doesn't help you, to to beat yourself up. Anyway, I'm very blessed, and I say that to you, and I'm blessed that you're in my life. That's a nice thing too, Andrea.
The feeling is very mutual. You light me up. What I'm going to do is put the link to the original podcast in the description. Um, then people can get the feel of what a transition in the late 80s into the early 90s is like. And I just want to thank you, and I will continue to pray for your energy and your outlook because it
Right
enlightens
back
us all.
at you, and I thank you. You're a blessing. You add so much to this world, to your family, and to me and my family. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I am Andrea Goeglein. This is Don't Die Unforgiven, mixed with a little bit of the ageless edge and the hey boss lady, and we'll figure it out as we get there. Thank you.
Thank you.